Eating small meals helps in many different ways. So when you're eating multiple times throughout the day, 4, 5, 6 times a day, it really helps with your digestion. So your digestive tract is actually like moving and burning and fueling.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of Nationally Syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, for being a part of our True Form Life community. We're coming at you with a brand new show. We appreciate whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. So stick around. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
Today we're talking about metabolism.
Yes. Fat-burning bodies. Coming at you. Metabolism is one of the hardest things to explain, and I don't know why. I think it's because it's like counterintuitive. More food for most people equals more weight.
In your mind, right?
Yeah.
We've had our minds conditioned to that. Like more food equals more weight.
That's right. And that's the problem, is because when you start to eat more food, you start to become more hungry. And there's so many benefits when you start to be more hungry. So your digestive system is working properly. You're starting to have more energy. You're in a better mood, and your body's like, give me more food, and it's like, give me more fuel. Like the more I think about food as like, how can that food like heal me? How can it?
I think of it as energy.
Yeah.
When I'm eating or preparing my meals, I think about, okay, what can I eat that's going to fuel me and give me energy?
So when that is going on, a lot of people, it's almost like the scale. Like we don't like the scale for many reasons that we talked about in the past. All your focus goes on those numbers, and you miss all the other positive things going on in your life because you're working out or because you're eating better. But when it comes to metabolism, people just focus on, oh my gosh, if I'm hungry, I'm going to have to eat more food. If I eat more food, I'm going to gain more weight. And it doesn't work like that. You have to eat cleaner meals. But the more fuel you put, the more good quality food that you put in your body, the better chance you have at burning body fat. And we can tell you down the line, for the last 10 years we've been working with people, it's not, when you're looking at someone that could be overweight or someone that everyone wants to trim inches.
Down.
So those types of people are usually don't eat enough. 9 times out of 10, at least 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, it's people that don't eat enough that want to be able to burn that body fat, but aren't able to because their metabolism is at a screeching halt.
And this is why we teach to eat small meals throughout the day. So in our Detoxify Yourself meal plan, there's 6 meals a day, and most people I struggle with getting that amount, like 5 or 6 meals in a day. But that is what fuels our metabolism, is eating small meals frequently throughout the day. That's what gets it. In the morning, that's what sparks it and gets it going, starts the engine. And then we need to keep fueling, keep pumping fuel into our body to keep that metabolism running. The longer that we wait between eating, the slower our metabolism is gonna go. The slower our metabolism is gonna be.
Burn.
That's the word, burn. So, and we can't catch that up throughout the day. For example, if we ate breakfast, let's say we didn't eat breakfast, we woke up and didn't eat breakfast at all, and our first piece of food, our first nutrients that went into our body was 10 a.m., then we've missed a really important window to get that metabolism jump started. It's already running slow, and it will continue because we didn't get that jump start in the morning. It's going to continue to run slowly. And then if we eat at 10, chances are you're not going to eat again until, most people would skip the afternoon and then go right to dinner. Right? So it's like these big, long spaces. You don't want big, long spaces between your meals. You want 2 or 3 hours between your meals. This is what is crazy for most people is, like we were saying, like the more you eat, the faster your metabolism is, so the more you're hungry, right? So if you're never hungry, your metabolism is slow. And then if you're never hungry.
So a question always comes up and it says, do I have to eat if I'm not hungry? Yes, because your body's not, if you're never hungry throughout the day, you have to eat. So some people think, well, I only have to eat when I'm hungry. That makes your metabolism extra slow. But the thing is, when you start eating, like when you start eating breakfast, and then you start having a snack in the morning, then you have lunch at noon, it takes a very short time. Like many of you are experiencing that already. Those of you that have been having breakfast, that haven't had breakfast before, you're starting to get hungry first thing when you wake up, which is a good thing. So then you can have that breakfast and enjoy it. But a lot of people are like, well, I'm not hungry in the morning, so I don't need to eat.
It freaks a lot of people out. Like, we've been working with people for years, and we've had so many people freaked out because they're hungry all the time. And in our mind, like like I said earlier, it's conditioned that more food equals more weight. So that if I'm hungry all the time, I have to eat more, which means I'm going to gain more weight, but it's quite the opposite, right?
So healthy fats, for example, fuel your metabolism. Remember we talked about all the 4 macronutrients, and there's a reason why we wanted to put all those 4 into our diet. So some people are like, well, I'll just have protein. Well, the protein doesn't burn your metabolism and it doesn't give you energy. So you have to look at the whole macronutrients as a whole. So healthy fats actually eat the bad fats. So they can help you. Healthy fats actually help you burn body fat, which is, if you want to talk about mind-blowing for a lot of people. And then if you look at carbohydrates, the dark ones, are the ones that are going to give you sustainable energy and help your metabolism burn. See, what happens is a lot of people eat white rice, white potatoes, white bread. That processes super quickly. It actually processes quickly into a sugar, which means you have nothing to slow that digestion, to give you sustainable energy and to help your metabolism burn body fat. So when we look at whole grains, for example, we look at quinoa, wild rice, whole grain bread, if you will. We look at sweet potatoes. These are going to help your metabolism keep burning and keep that fuel and that fire burning within you, which is your metabolism, to help you burn body fat. But the problem is, so many people I don't like brown bread. We don't want to eat brown bread anyways, but I don't like sweet potatoes. Well, that's a problem to get your metabolism burning, and which is one of the reasons why you can't lose those inches or you can't drop that weight you're looking for.
I know that we gravitate more towards certain foods than others, but like we were talking about with the Meg, like your taste buds, or the green smoothie, your taste buds will change. So if you have a mindset that, I don't like sweet potatoes, or I don't like Brussels sprouts, for example, we always encourage people to keep trying them. Like if you feel like you don't like sweet potatoes, just as an example, then we encourage people, well, try cooking it a different way, or keep trying little bits of it, because we need to retrain our taste buds to liking those different foods.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because you could look at boiling vegetables, for example. You boil your vegetables and they turn into mush, and of course, no one, like, who wants to eat that? It's gross. Mm-hmm. And then you look at different ways to make Brussels sprouts, for example, like, tell them about your Brussels sprouts story.
I never liked Brussels sprouts, and I used to call them murder balls when I was a kid. Because I didn't like Brussels sprouts so much. But then Drew, I never was going to touch a Brussels sprout the rest of my life. But it's funny because now it's one of my favorite veggies. Love Brussels sprouts. And because Drew roasted them. So you sauteed some onions and some mushrooms, and you roasted them in the oven. And it just changed I was still like, I'm not going to like these. But I was like, try them. And the first couple of times I was like, yeah, it's not bad, I guess. Guess they're not murder balls anymore. But then if you keep trying, eventually your taste buds will adapt and change. But usually we try something once and then we make that decision that we don't like it.
I don't like the texture.
I don't like it.
We hear that all the time. Like, oh, I don't like the texture. I'm done with it. I was laughing with Stacy today, and she said something about the texture of nutritional
Nutritionally.
I was like, really? I was like, because the texture it's like crunchy. Like,
it's like air, like kind of melts.
Yeah.
Not
so
melts,
I was like, she's like, I don't like the texture. I'm like, what do you mean? What did you try it in? She's like, well, I think, at least if I understood this right, Stacy, she was like, well, actually, it was it looked like I wouldn't like the texture.
In the bag.
So, I mean, but that's just a micro example. Like, there's so many of us like, oh, I don't like avocado. I'm like, when's the last time you tried it? You were 6 years old and your parents tried to make you eat it. So now that we're grown adults and we can make our own decisions, you can try different foods, give your taste buds a chance to change it a little bit, and then you can actually start to enjoy these different foods.
Remember the quote we told you guys in one of our first show? If you want something that you never had,
you must be willing to do something you've never done. So
if you want to make big changes, then we have to be willing to do things that we've never done before.
Yeah.
And we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes. Good quote.
I like that one too. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I want to explain
the small meals. Remember you wanted to talk about that?
I did. Okay. There's a couple other things, but let me mention the small meals. So when you like, eating small meals helps in many different ways. So when you're eating multiple times throughout the day, 4, 5, 6 times a day, it really helps with your digestion. So your digestive tract is actually like moving and burning and fueling. But when when you think of your gut and intestines at a standstill, and you have absolutely nothing go in there, especially when you're looking at toxins that we talked about. But you're putting toxins, and you're putting Coke in there, you're putting coffee in there, you're putting pastries in there, and it's like really like struggling, trying to figure out how to digest. And that's at 10 o'clock in the morning, let's say. Then at 7 o'clock at night, you have a big old piece of meat. Maybe you got potatoes.
Or just a big meal altogether.
Yeah, it could be pasta, like a big bowl of pasta that's really hard to digest. And
just don't want to pick on the meat.
Yeah. Well, we're in Alberta. We have big pieces of meat in Alberta. Easy. But then, so your gut and intestines are basically at a standstill, and then you put this giant meal in it. On top of that, you don't eat it. You don't eat it slowly and enjoy the food. You swallow it in 5 to 7 minutes, and your gut and intestine is like, what are you doing to me? And then we deal with gas and bloating and indigestion, and we're like, what's happening? Every time I eat, I feel horrible. But that's the reason, is because we're not putting fuel in our body to help our gut and intestines digest. But one of the things that I thought about was, so many of us are used to big meals,
like the three staple meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we're used to
probably 2.
Yeah, 2 or 3 big meals, and we have big portions. Usually, if we're only eating a couple of times a day, we have these gigantic portions usually.
Yeah, so in the morning it's usually like snacking, like pastries, coffees. Like, most people don't eat like a full meal at breakfast.
Right.
And then it's like 11 to 1 o'clock, we're starving because we haven't eaten since 6 o'clock the night before, really. We haven't had a whole meal. So we have a huge lunch, and then we deal with that afternoon crash. So many people come to us and like, what do we do with the afternoon crash? And we're like, well, there's so many things you need to do. It's not just an easy answer. There's all these steps you take so you don't deal with that afternoon crash, but it's based around not having a huge meal at lunchtime. So you have that huge meal at 1 o'clock, and then you don't eat again until 7 o'clock, and then you're starving again, and what comes? A big giant meal again. And then you sit on the couch, and you feel guilty, and you feel miserable because your stomach is bothering you, and that's the lifestyle that many people live. Mm-hmm. So what I was saying is that if you break those meals up, you'll start to have smaller meals, and you won't need a huge meal. Like Dorothy and I, when we go to a restaurant, sometimes we share an appetizer, not always, but we always share an entree. And then
we're huge.
And after we're full. And I was like, this happens almost every time we eat out. We're like, I wonder how someone would eat all that by themselves.
Yeah. Just because we have... we're so conditioned to eating those small meals frequently throughout the day.
that you don't need those big meals. And it was actually happened tonight was like, oh, I had like a regular portion for me of dinner, and then we were like, oh, do you want seconds or do you want more? And I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna have some popcorn tonight. So I'm already planning the next meal, and I know I'm gonna, it's Friday night, I'm gonna enjoy some popcorn tonight. So I didn't need extra food, or I didn't feel like, oh, this was my last meal before bed. I better eat as much as I can.
Yeah.
But make sure you guys eat. When you're hungry, you need to eat.
Yeah.
Don't just starve yourself and be like, oh, I'm so hungry all day, I don't want to eat, I'm going to gain weight. You got to eat.
You'll notice too, like I noticed this about myself, is that some days it's like every day's a little different, right? You kind of have to listen to your body. For the most part, it's pretty consistent, like hungry when you wake up, and then hungry around, like for me, hungry around 10, hungry around noon, hungry around 2, and then so on and so on. But some days I eat my breakfast, and then I get to 8, 9 o'clock, I'm hungry again. Well, I'm going to eat because I'm hungry.
And like, you can eat. It's okay. And like, and it depends on the night before. Like, same thing with hydration. Like, if you had an extra long workout, or if you forgot to have a lot of liquids the day before, then that next day you're going to be thirsty. So you can drink more that you don't have to worry about. And then the same thing with food. Like, if you were starving the day before, you didn't get enough nutrients, then that next day you can have some more food.
A little more.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to, which one should I go first?
Talk about snacking in the evening first.
Okay, so here's the issue, is that someone like, it's almost like someone took over the, like oranges took over the vitamin C industry. Like, get your oranges in, even though there's tons of other vegetables and fruits that have more vitamins. So I'm like,
more vitamin C than oranges, yeah.
So it's I don't know I don't know where it began that you can't eat in the evening, or you shouldn't have a meal in the evening, but it's gone mainstream, and most people feel that they're not able to eat in the evening. The only stipulation there, of course, is that when we eat in the evening, we head to the pantry and we're looking for processed food or chips or pop, or the things that we know we shouldn't be having anyways. But if you look at our philosophy when it comes to eating every 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, let's say eating every 3 hours, if you eat at 5 or 6 o'clock, and then you go to bed at 10 o'clock, that's a good stretch of time where you haven't eaten. And then from 10 o'clock at night until 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I think most people get up between 6 and 7 o'clock. Look how long that time is for no fuel to be going in your body. So there's no chance for your body to be burning metabolism. So your metabolism has come to a screeching halt, and then it becomes 7 o'clock where you should be having breakfast, and people don't have breakfast. They grab whatever, guys that like to pick on coffee. They grab a coffee and they grab a pastry, and that isn't really going to help speed up your metabolism. So from 6 o'clock at night till the next time you eat, till 10 o'clock in the morning, that's over 12 hours of your metabolism just sitting there being like,
what's going on, guys?
I thought we were going to improve digestion. I thought we were going to give you more energy. I thought you were going to fuel me. But we're like, nope, I can't eat in the evening. So that's why, to keep burning our metabolism, we suggest a snack meal after dinner. So dinner's 5, 6, and then you're looking at a snack 7, 8, depending what time you go to sleep.
That mindset comes around what we generally tend to snack on in the evening, right? Because usually it's junk food, right? Snacking in the evening, you're sitting around, you're bored, it's chips, it's chocolate, it's cookies, whatever.
But let me jump in there. So I think we snack on those foods because we're hungry. So at 6, we eat, let's say we're done eating around 6. I don't know. What time do you guys stop eating? Let's say you eat between 5 and 6, maybe.
We're late.
What?
Usually we eat late. Anyway.
We go to bed at 8.
Anyway.
So let's say you're eating at 6 o'clock and you're done eating at 6:30. And you don't go to bed till 10. So between 6 and 10 is 4 hours. So at 9 o'clock, you're hungry, and you go to the pantry and you grab the cookies and you grab the pastries and things that you shouldn't be having. But instead, if you planned a meal like, we're having popcorn tonight. If you had planned a meal like, I'm going to snack on kale chips tonight, or I'm going to grab some dates and peanut butter, then you know that you don't have to overindulge at dinner time because you don't want to be starving until bedtime. Or you know that you don't have to go and grab the unhealthy things because you already have healthy things. But I feel like we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Like, oh, my metabolism is too slow. I can't speed it up. Like, or I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Or I suppose I shouldn't say you're not really slowing your metabolism down. You just have to adjust what you eat so that the weight doesn't run off of you or burn off of you as fast.
Yeah.
Right. Because your metabolism is still fast. You haven't slowed it down. You're just adjusting what you're eating.
Yes.
Hey, that kind of addresses the fast metabolism one, right? Like, you're still going to eat, if you have a super fast metabolism like Drew, and you can eat like 5 cheeseburgers and not gain a pound.
I haven't had cheeseburger in years.
That's just the thing. That's just an example. But if you're one of those people where you have a really hard time gaining weight or keeping weight on, you're still going to have your small frequent meals throughout the day. Or you're still going to eat frequently throughout the day. You will have to eat more food and more calories.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So I hope that's clear, and it's a mindset thing. So if you plan something healthy to eat in the evening, I think that would be much better than overindulging at dinner time, or going to, like, you're starving or you're snacking or it's a habit. If you plan something much healthier, then you're not going to go for those things that we shouldn't be having, like highly processed foods.
Do you guys use natural peanut butter? Of course.
100%.
But like, if you're in the peanut butter aisle at the grocery store and you look at the back of the jar of a conventional peanut butter, then it's going to have at least 5 ingredients, maybe more.
Sugar's hydrogenated oils.
So peanut butter is supposed to, people hate that the oil's on the top of the natural peanut butter, and usually that's why people don't buy it. They're like, I hate that. But peanut butter should separate, because of the natural oils. They put chemicals in the peanut butter so it doesn't separate. And so they're affecting nature.
It should taste like
messing with nature.
Peanuts. Your peanut butter should taste like peanuts.
And it should only have peanuts in the ingredients.
Like that old school Kraft. Kraft actually, I don't know, like Kraft isn't like a healthy brand, but they have changed and made some adjustments to have products that is just peanuts. But that I would call it the old school Kraft. I know people still have it in their kitchens, but it's like Cheese Whiz. Like, Cheese Whiz is a chemical in a jar, and we eat it. And that that plastic type of Kraft peanut butter, I had some. I was at a family member's house and I was starving, and dinner was a couple hours away. I was like, I gotta eat something, so I probably grabbed a banana.
Probably a banana.
And some peanut butter, and all they had was like that plastic Kraft peanut butter. And I pulled it out, and I was like, because it was quite some time before we had even seen it, and I pulled it out. And I put some on my banana, and I took a bite, and I was like, it didn't even taste like peanuts. So, but that was your taste buds, remember. Once you get more towards health, whole foods, and your taste buds change and adjust, you start to crave the better types of food.
We have people that have had fast metabolisms come to us in their mid-40s, 50s, or even around that age, I suppose, mid-40s to 50s, and be like, I haven't, and they have had poor eating habits, but I suppose, for lack of a better term, got away with it because of their fast metabolism. But now that they're a little bit older, the poor habits have caught up to them, and they are noticing their metabolism has slowed down.
We hear it all the time. People are like, oh, I used to be able to eat whatever I want, and now I eat a cheeseburger and gain 5 pounds. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have been doing that to begin with.
Yeah.
So just let me address. So for me, in the athletic world, they would call us hard gainers. That's like a term. Hard gainers mean it's really difficult for us to gain weight, for us to gain muscle, body mass. And I grew up with that throughout my whole life. That's how it's always been. And the thing is,
what was I, an easy gainer?
But the thing is that people think that when you get made fun of for being overweight, it's easier on people that get made fun of for being underweight. And there's no difference. The people that got made fun of for being skinny, too skinny. Oh, you're so frail. Look at those skinny legs. Or look at those knobby knees.
Love your knobby knees.
See what I'm talking about? Still, Still a little hole in my heart. Stop touching me. Touch my
I'm
knees.
touching the knees.
But the thing is, like, that stuff stays with you. Like, I'll always remember people making fun of me because I was too skinny. But I was able to change that. Like, I took that pain and made it my strength. So as I got past, as my last years in high school and I got into college and I was one of the skinniest guys around. And the guys were making fun of me. I was 160 pounds, 165 pounds in college. And most guys were like 175, 180, 185. So my first year, I lived in the kitchen. All I did was like read nutrition books. That's where Detoxify Yourself came from. But I read nutrition books and I was learning how to cook food in the kitchen. And I was like, I'll show you I'm skinny. So I was always eating food and I was always in the gym. And that's what I did. Like, that's where I lived because I was tired of people making fun of me because I was too skinny. But I was able to change my body makeup, if you will, by making adjustments through nutrition and exercise. The problem is some people don't make any changes. Like, they don't make any adjustments. They just feel like, oh, I have a fast metabolism, I can't do anything, so I'm going to be skinny for the rest of my life. And it doesn't have to be like that. Where are you? Dorothy can't relate at all. She's like, what are you talking about?
No, you just relate in a different way, right? It's funny because it's the same, but it's the opposite.
It's the same, but it's different. It's different, but
it's the same experience. Well, closely the same experience, but the opposite. Too skinny, too
chubby.
Too chubby.
It's different, but same. But
different, but same.
Yeah, but it's the same deal. But I want to address. That's what I want to address. Those people that have a fast metabolism. Right. Like, you can change and you can gain muscle weight. You can gain body mass if you want to, but you have to put in that effort. So you have to, like, I know that I have to eat a little bit more. When we're at the beach and Dorothy's running every day, like, I don't love running. I go out and run to be active, and I like to move my body, and like I like the feeling afterwards. But I know if I run every day, I'm gonna shrivel up. I'm gonna be like a little skinny person that I don't want to be. Mm-hmm. So it actually happened. I was running with Dorothy. She was training for a half marathon, and I started to, my pants weren't fitting me.
Shorts weren't fitting.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what's happening? And then I was like, well, I'm running. Like, I was doing too much cardio. More cardio than I wanted to. If I wanted to keep doing cardio at that rate, I would have had to eat quite a bit more food, and I didn't want to eat more food, so I took a step. Then you stopped running with me. So I took a step back from running so much. So I'm not saying that you don't, if you want to run every day, you can run every day, but then you have to adjust your nutrition so you can reach the goals that you're looking for body-wise. And body image is important. Mm-hmm. Like, it's important for me. It's just important for me, as is it important for someone else that, like, oh, I never want to wear a bikini, never want to wear shorts. You know, it's the same for everyone. Everyone just deals with it at a different level.
Mm-hmm. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Remember that the weekends are pretty challenging for a lot of people. You change your lifestyle, or you change your habits during the weekend. Everything's a little bit different. So stay strong throughout the weekend, and you'll feel fantastic starting out next week. We guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. So that's it.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. You can always find us on Facebook.com/TrueFormLife. We post up there a couple times a day on our story. We're always trying to bring you more content around living a healthy lifestyle, whether that be nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. We also have free challenges that we do at least once a month. So if you follow us along there, you'll be able to join maybe a plank challenge or a squat challenge, Tabata challenge, whatever it may be. We'd love to have you join us. We're also on Instagram.com/DrewTadia. Again, we're posting up there a couple times a day along with our story, all dedicated to keeping you fit and healthy and on track. Our main website is TrueFormLife.com. If you want to check out some of our products, some of our services, or if you just want some great content from videos to blog posts and recipes and more, we got all that at TrueFormLife.com. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.